Hey guys, welcome to my little backyard garden. It's a decent size. It's about 38 feet by 32, I think somewhere around there. Maybe 36 by 38, something like that. But I wish it was bigger. I can never have enough space for all my stuff, but we did expand this last year. So this is about as big as a garden I'm gonna get here because we have so much shade and so many trees. But I do have a few things started. We're about more the end of April now. And so I've got a lot of cool weather crops, plants started. I've got onions in. These onions actually were onions that I grew last year, and they were kind of a little bit smaller, and I had put them in a mesh bag in the basement, forgot about them, and then they started growing things, and I thought, I'm gonna pop them in with my brassicas because they're supposed to help keep the cabbage worms away and all kinds of other bugs. So I thought, well, let's try that. And celery, it's the same thing. Celery is supposed to help keep the bugs away from brassicas. So I thought, I'm gonna try interplanting this year. The celery, the onions, and then I've got a row of broccoli and another barrier of onions, and then another row of the celery and another row of onions, and then another row of broccoli. And they're just starting to come up, the broccoli. They're just little babies. And I'm only gonna have a few heads, maybe three in each row. It's kind of a short little section here, so I don't know. I maybe could have put all the broccoli together and put all that stuff around it. I don't know. I'm trying this just to see if it'll help keep the bugs away. I did another row of onions, another row of celery, another row of onions, and more broccoli, onions, celery, onions, and I know I have more celery and onions out here than I do the brassicas, but that's okay. It was kind of just a test I wanted to try. Then we've got Brussels sprouts and then just onions in between there. And then I've got a couple more rows of Brussels sprouts, unless I screwed that up and didn't mark it right. It's quite possible, who knows. And then I've got more onions and celery, and over here I got bok choy. So I'm super excited about that. Because I tried growing that in the past, and by the time I started growing it was too hot. And so this I started, oh geez, I can't remember the date, I'll have to look it up, but it's coming up nice. I'm super excited. And that I planted here. I didn't start it from seed, and I started some from seed inside, and then something happened to them. So now I planted out here and it's coming up great, so I'm happy about that. I'm gonna add in some, don't mind the garbage. I'm gonna do some Napa cabbage along here. And then here, I'm gonna do a row of zucchini, and this year I'm gonna try planting that in succession. Maybe just put in a few and then let them grow and produce a bit. And then when those lovely little vine borers come along and do their thing, I'll have new starters coming in, and then when they're all done, then I'll have new plants, because I guess they don't like to eat the new zucchini plants. Problem is I'm zone 5B, not a lot of time to grow zucchini, so I'm not quite sure how that's gonna work. I may start them inside, I don't know. No, I'll put them in the ground out here, but I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work. I may just do a couple little extra, because where we're at, we've only got 4 months to grow stuff. So we'll see how that works. Another thing I saw online, but I probably was watching a video from someone who has a lot longer growing season. All right, and then I've got these trellises here. These are where I put all my tomato plants. They'll grow up the trellises this year, and then I'm gonna have some on the ground in between in cages. But I thought I'd start out some snow peas all the way down. You can kind of see they're coming up there. So I've got snow peas on this side and sugar snap peas on this side, all the way down. And I also have a row of spinach right alongside here, all the way down. Yeah, I'm cramming in as much as I can, okay? I know it might be a lot because I'm going to put tomatoes there, and I've got the peas coming up. The peas are a spring crop, I'm hoping that they'll be kind of done before my tomatoes are big enough and spreading out on this thing that it's going to be an issue. I'll plan to put the tomatoes between those plants. We'll see how that works. If the peas get in the way of the tomatoes, the peas are history. I'll just pull them and feed them to my chickens or something. I don't know. But I've got lettuce on the end of each of these. Oh, look it. They're in my garden. No, no, no. You need to go. No, not that way. Okay, out. You can't eat my plants. You can't be in here. Out. That's what happens when you leave the gate open. Okay, we're gonna do this now. Are we gonna do this? Keep going. Keep going. Oh, a sneaky hole that I did not know was there. Okay. Little stinker. Oh, now you're stuck in there. Are you stuck in that wire? I'm gonna have to come help you. Oh, you made it. Good job. Okay. On this side, I have head lettuce growing. I have it. I'm planting this in succession as well. I started week one being here, and they're just starting to come up. And I got like 3 or 4. I got 4. I'll have 4 heads there, and then the next week, which was last Sunday, I planted another section of the head lettuce, and then next Sunday I will plant this section, and then I'll have one more section there, and I may even do it on the other side. I have other things I want to plant on the other side though, like marigolds and things like that, but I could maybe mix those in between the head lettuce. I'm going to be putting basil in there as well, maybe some parsley. So that's it for that side. The back side over here, I got a lot to clean up over here. These were all where I had all my flowers last year, my zinnias and that. And in the fall, I think I was just too tired to get to pulling all this out. I thought, oh, I can wait till spring, and it still isn't picked up. But as you can see, I have stuff growing where those flowers were. And I'm wondering if something that I planted last year either was a perennial or if those flowers dropped seeds or something. But it's in a straight line, so that's what makes me think either some of the seeds are sprouting now or they're perennials and they're coming back, but I don't know what they are. I mean, if anybody can tell me what these are, I'm not a big flower person, so if you know what they are, or maybe they're just weeds, but I doubt that because they're in a straight line all the way down, right where my flowers were. If you know what they are, please comment, let me know. But I'm gonna plan on taking all of this out, and if those are pretty, I might transplant those somewhere, so let me know. But I'm ripping all this out. This is probably this whole section. Whoops, sorry, I'm holding the camera very bad. You're not gonna get expert videos with me, just so you know. But this whole section here is going to be for pumpkins, and I thought about maybe putting a couple rows of corn on the back side. I don't know if I have room to do both. I'm not really sure. That's really like, that's maybe like a 10-foot spot there. That's really how much you really need for the pumpkins. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to squeeze in some corn and then the pumpkins could grow along the bottom. It might work, I don't know, but I need at least 2 rows, right, of the corn. So that, you know, that would bring it out, well, to about where the flowers are. And then if I planted the pumpkins there, it might be okay. I don't know. Any thoughts? Can I do that? Or do I gotta find another place for corn? Maybe I can do a section along the field over there. I can cut the grass short and rototill a spot and plant some corn over there. I'm sure my husband will love that. I start ripping up the grass. But I might just do that. Over here, I have decided to plant carrots in between rows of onions, and then beets. And I actually was gonna do another row of onions, which I may squeeze some onions in, like not a whole row maybe, but some more, because I have, I got more. These I planted from sets, but, and those were ones from my basement that I put in, that I had from last year that just started growing things. And I thought, well, I'm just using those for bugs, so let's just see if it works. And it's working, it's fantastic. But I might throw some more of those starts of onions in here, but I also have another kind of beet that I want to plant. And I'm like, I don't think I can add beets on this side. If I do, that's going to shorten this up. My peppers are all going in here. So I got to have room to walk, and I got to be able to reach in to weed and do things. So if I start getting too wide on this row, it's going to be too far of a reach for me. I don't know. These carrots, I think the carrots I planted a little too close to the row of onions. So when I thin them out, I might decide to try to scoot them over. I don't know if that's worth the effort. Probably not. And I kind of don't want to disturb the roots. I don't know if it's going to be too close together tonight, because I think it might be okay. I think it might be all right. And then the beets I know get big, so I put those a little further over. I don't think I can fit any more beets in. I don't know. I'm getting the feeling I'm going to be putting another row of beets on this side. I don't know. But I added some strawberries this year. I tried growing them in planters in one of those green stalks, and I didn't have the water hooked up because I didn't have something. I couldn't leave a hose across the whole yard out to the garden. It was too far. So the thing was always drying out. It didn't do well. But these, I don't know how they're going to do here. Hopefully they do good. I'll try to keep them watered, and we'll see what happens. If the birds don't eat them, I probably should try to get a net or something. But I don't know. I thought I'd give it a whirl and do some more strawberries. This side, I love this trellis. We put this in 2 years ago. Yeah, we put this trellis in 2 years ago, and I just love it. I grow my butternut squash on there. I put pole beans on there. I have grown my cucumbers on there, but this year I'm putting that's why I don't have room. I'm going to be putting a shorter trellis here for just cucumbers, because my husband eats a ton of them, and I just thought maybe it'd just be better to have a separate spot, because I love butternut squash. So half of this thing is going to be butternut squash. The other half probably going to be pole beans. I love beans as well. So I think I'm just going to limit it to those two things this year on there. Besides the fact that I planted extra peas just on half this side, because the butternut squash, it takes a while for that to get going, and those peas will be done. And the peas actually add nitrogen to the soil, so that'll be good for the tomatoes over there, and it'll be good for the butternut squash. So I'm doing peas on each side here as well. I did plant some kale seed, but I don't know, it doesn't seem to be coming up. I may have to restart that. I didn't water enough, and I think it just got too dried up. And I'm hoping to get my potatoes in within the next 2 days, because it's going to storm, and it would be perfect timing to get them in. I rototilled all this and got all the weeds out and the grass, and I cut it way back, and got the trench dug, and you need about 6 inches, a 6-inch trench, and then you put your potatoes in. I think they're about a foot apart. I'm not really sure. This is my first time I'm going to plant potatoes, so I'm super excited. But it's my understanding you're not supposed to plant potatoes next to butternut squash, and they're going to be on this trellis here. The beans are fine. That'll be fine next to it. So I don't know if I should just plant potatoes maybe halfway up. I think bugs are an issue, but maybe it's far enough apart, because they'll be about 5 feet apart, 4 to 5 feet apart. I don't know your thoughts on that. Should I put potatoes? Can I put potatoes in right here if my butternut squash is here? I'd really like to know, because I wasn't finding much on the internet. I know you're not supposed to, they're not companion plants, but I don't know. This is a big enough space, so maybe that'll be fine. I really would like to put a whole row in. We'll see. But I'm going to do some nasturtiums, some marigolds. Oh, I got a whole ton of stuff. Can't wait. A few more weeks. It's going to be a lot of stuff out here. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video.